Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Yoga with Allyssa. I'm coming to you from Isabella Fitness. Let's get into our flow. Today's yoga practice is going to focus on flexibility. All right, so we're going to do a lot of different movements and try to really stretch out in a lot of different areas, upper body, lower body, and just feel out how flexible we are and see how much more we can go. And also just get a nice stretch in. All right, so first thing I'm going to have us do is start in a nice little child's pose. All right, so you can go into a higher child's pose where we're right here and then bending forward. Or you can open up your legs a little bit and get more into a wide child's pose. All right, so we're going to bring our arms down, and if you're comfortable here, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can come with me, and we're going to bring our head to our yoga mat and our hands down in front of us. Now, because we're working on flexibility today, I want you guys to really focus on feeling each stretch. So even here, we should be feeling a big stretch right here along our shoulder and our lats here. All right, so bring the arms forward and really try to push into the ground and feel that stretch. Take a deep breath with me. Deep breath in. And out. Good. Now we're going to shift our hips forward, and we're going to take one arm, we're going to plant it, all right, and we're going to bring our other arm, and we're going to bring it through underneath. And if you can stay here, or you can push that elbow into the ground. If this one bends, it's okay. All right, and we're going to press that shoulder into the ground. All right, so we're not twisting our body here. We're really bringing it down and trying to just press into that shoulder towards the ground. Now, if you're not able to get into this position or you don't feel flexible enough to be here and you're a little bit higher, that's totally fine as long as you're feeling that stretch. Take a deep breath in. Good. Now coming back up, sink into a child's pose here. One more deep breath. Good. And coming up, threading the needle on the other side, bringing that opposite arm in, bringing it through, and again planting our shoulder down. Take a deep breath here. Good, maybe roll on that shoulder a little bit. I know my shoulders are a little sore today, so this feels really good on the shoulder. Just moving around that joint. Good, and coming back up. One more time, we're going to bring ourselves down into our child's pose. Reset here. Good. Coming up this time, we're going to go into a pigeon pose. So now we're going to work into our legs a little bit. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring one leg up, other leg back. All right. Now that you've done that, you're probably feeling a nice little stretch on the leg that is nice and long. All right. Now the leg inside right now is underneath me. I'm going to have you bring it in nice and slow as much as you can. If you can, bring your foot all the way up to here and you have that flexibility, go for it. If you're able to just keep it here where you had it before, stay here. That's totally fine. I'm going to bring it in to a point where I'm comfortable. And one thing to remember about our pigeon pose is you want to stay over that foot. You don't want to lean into the side so that your hip is touching the ground here. You want to stay over that foot. All right, so if you're able to, I want you to sit up nice and straight. You can use your hands here for balance and just breathe. Good, and now we're gonna come down. You can stay here on your forearms or you can stay up top. If you're able to, you can bring your arms down and long and bring your head to the ground. And you should really be feeling this in your hip, maybe feeling a stretch here as well. All right, so really sink in here, take a deep breath. Good, and come on up. Still in our pigeon pose, we're gonna do one last thing. So if you're able to, and I'm feeling a little tight today, so I might not do it, but if you're comfortable enough and you can bring that other foot up, you can bring your opposite arm up and hold in that position. Now, I get a cramp usually when I do that because I don't have that flexibility, but if you're able to, get into that position now, and we're gonna take a deep breath in. And if you're holding that foot, hold it here. And release. Good, and once we're all back in this position, I'd like you guys to bring that leg back underneath you if you had it out, and we're going to reset in our child's pose. Again, feeling a big stretch here. Good, and coming back up, we're going to work into the other side. All right, so opposite is going to happen here. Opposite leg's gonna come up, opposite leg's gonna come back. And then we're going to turn as much as we can, staying over that foot. And then we're going to stay up here. And I want us to take a deep breath in. Really opening up our chest here, trying to keep it nice and tall. Good, and sinking nice and low here into a position that's comfortable. All right, you could be nice and long, or you could just be like me, just tucking the head here and letting the head fall. Good, and coming back up. All right, I'm gonna have you bring that opposite leg up, and we're gonna grab it with our opposite arm. Again, if you're unable to, or you wanna just be here, you can, or you can grab the foot fully. All right, and breathe. Again, keeping a nice high chest here. And release. Good. All right, guys. Now what I'm going to have us do is we're going to get into a little straddle stretch. So you guys can bring your legs out here. One at a time, we're going to do it. All right, so first thing, left or right leg, choose whichever one you like. All right, just fixing my microphone here. All right, so this leg's in. You can bring it in nice and tight if you can. And then we're going to reach that arm onto our leg and lean into it here with our head. Opposite arm's just gonna rest for now. You can put it on the inside of the leg. Just holding here. Really trying to feel a nice stretch on the inside. Breathing into that stretch. Great job. Great job, guys. Hope you guys are getting a nice stretch in. Doing a little recovery. All right, you can come back up. We're gonna bring the opposite leg out. So that leg comes in, opposite leg comes out. And you may feel more flexible on one side, and that's totally normal. All right, but we're gonna stretch out both. Again, taking that arm on that side and stretching as much as you can. Feel a good stretch here. Not to a point that it's painful, just a little bit of a stretch. We don't want to overdo it or pull anything here, so we're being very careful with that. So holding here, opposite arm is just resting and leaning into it. Good. And now for our last one, we're going to open up completely. All right, doesn't matter how wide you are. You could be here, you could be wider, you could be a little closer together. Anything is fine. We're just working on pushing our limits and feeling a nice stretch wherever we are today in our practice. All right, so you can prick your hips up a little bit. Usually you can get a little bit more of a stretch. And then you're going to lean forward, walk the hands forward. Now you may only be able to be here. You know, some days you might feel a little tighter than others. All right, so bring your hands forward as much as you can and then take a deep breath in and out. Good job, guys. Want those hands back in. Now I'm going to bring us into a more challenging stretch. Now, I was just having us warm up here. Now is the biggie, all right? Now, if you've ever worked on a split, we're going to work on that a little bit today, all right? Every day, if you do it consistently, you can get there. But it's definitely something that takes time and patience for, all right? So bring the one leg forward. You can start on either leg. Opposite leg comes back. And as you can see, I am a little tight. So I'm gonna stay here because I can feel that stretch all the way along my legs right now. All right, but we're gonna hold here. Take a few deep breaths. Good, and relax. You can bring your hands out, bring your feet in. We're gonna relax here in our seated position. Great job. I know that it's tough, especially if maybe you haven't worked on it in a while. I know for me, I was definitely feeling it. So if you can't hold it for as long, hold it for as long as you feel comfortable, and then come out of it when you need to. All right, we're gonna come into our opposite leg now. All right, so bring the opposite leg forward. Other leg is going to stay back. And I'm going to keep my hands one on each side. All right, I'm feeling that stretch here. Make sure to breathe here, breathe into your stretches. And come down. Now, if you're able to hold it for longer and you've been working on these, you can definitely stay there a little bit longer. I'm just gonna have us take a quick reset into our child's pose. All right, so coming down, feel a nice long stretch and breathe. Good. All right, we're gonna come on up and I'm gonna have you come into a butterfly position. All right, so our feet are right next to each other. We have our little butterfly wings right here. And I want you guys to bring those feet in as much as comfortable. And then we're gonna flap our wings here. I'm holding on to my ankles for a little bit of support. Chest nice and high. Trying to just drown out all the other sounds and really just focus on our practice. Take these few minutes to really reset. Still flutter those wings. Or you can just stay here in a nice static position and hold. Opening up our heart, maybe bringing our hands to our chest. Good. All right, we're gonna do one last thing, guys. All right, we're gonna feel one last big stretch in our hips today. All right, so what I'd like us to do is come on down again. All right, we're gonna be in our tabletop position. And then what I'm gonna have us do is we're gonna kick up into our downward dog, all right? So feet planted to the ground, kicking our hips up and through. All right, you should feel a nice stretch here in our calves, maybe our hamstrings. All right, and we are going to walk our hands in. And then as we do, I'm gonna have us bring our toes out and we are gonna land ourselves in a nice little yogi squat. All right, now it doesn't matter how low you're able to go here. If you're a little bit higher, that's totally fine, all right? You can always go and reset into child's pose when you need to. Now I'm pressing my elbows into my feet right here. Hands are together over my heart. One more deep breath, and then we're gonna go back into our downward dog. Coming down, leaning forward, hands planted. Walking them out into our downward dog here. And then pressing down, feeling that stretch. And then one last time, bring your hands back in and then falling into that yogi stretch here. All right, guys, you can stay in your yogi squat. I'm just gonna come and face you guys if you're comfortable there, or you can join me here in a little pretzel position. Today was a very relaxing practice, and also a very challenging practice. Flexibility is definitely something that yoga has helped me with. And it definitely always shows me where areas that I could really work on and just work on my flexibility. That way I can feel a lot stronger and more mobile in more positions, which will just help me in daily life, right? So thank you so much for you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you in our next yoga practice.